I see the trolls and I see the haters and they talk shit or whatever. That doesn't affect me. I laugh at a lot of those, and I have a whole list of bulletin board material up on my locker that I have every day that I read. And it's just like, why are you doing this? I'm doing this because this is a part of the game. Like, I love when people talk shit. I love proving people wrong. I love proving myself right. You know, I love pushing myself, and I think that's what football is. It's a game, and it should be treated as such. And so, we good? All right, let's talk about 2020. So to start off with, I'd say all the way back in March, I can kind of remember it clear as day almost. We were all sitting down in the locker room, getting ready, actually making jokes about COVID probably, and saying a bunch of dumb stuff that, you know, college football players say. And our head of football operations guy comes down and was like, hey, emergency team meeting, everybody up in the team room right now. And so everybody's running up there. It's kind of chaotic or whatever. And, you know, they tell us straight up, well, you know, we're getting shut down. You know, you don't have to be here. And basically you can go home. And everybody's like, what? Like, this is supposed to be the year. You know, this is the year we're going to take over. It's 2020. It's this, it's that. And we're grinding hard. And team's looking really good in spring. And they're like, go home. No. Like, what do you mean? So everybody goes home. We're all in quarantine. The world's chaotic. Black Lives Matter, presidential stuff. You name it, we got it basically in the U.S. So the world's going crazy. We're still in school online. That's a joke. And, you know, we don't have football. So we're really like, what the fuck do we do, right? And it was a point in time come, you know, middle of quarantine when I kind of had to ask myself, like, look, like, hey, there's always a possibility of you playing, right? So do you either go in the dumps and just sit around and, you know, if you get the opportunity, you get to go, or are you going to prepare for the opportunity and, you know, really set your mark this year? It's supposed to be your year. It's supposed to be your bag year still. You know, you're supposed to be 3 and out and all that, all the above. You're supposed to show that it's all coming together now, being in year 3. And so, you know, I had some real kind of man-to-man decisions to make on, you know, what I want to do and how I want to spend the rest of my quarantine, however long that is. And so I took the route of, you know, working hard and putting my head down, putting my nose down, and really doing what needed to be done so I would come what was now November or whatever it was to play. And so I'm very proud of myself for that. And I learned a lot about myself, you know, getting to be around guys like Odell, Deshaun Watson, Cam Newton, guys that really work their tails off. Being able to get around those guys, pick their guys' brains, and see how those guys work on a day-to-day basis was something I couldn't ask for anywhere else. So that right there, plus just being able to get back on campus, having an appreciation for the game after it had been taken away from you for months, all that combined together, I think really went into the work that was put in. And so looking back on how I finished the season, second team all conference, leading top 2 or top 3 in stats, second highest quarterback rating in the league, like all the personal things, that was through my hard work. Did we finish the season how we wanted to? No. But there was easily noticeable improvement. We were easily the best offensive team in the conference. At times we put our defense in really bad spots, which is why they didn't look as great on the stat sheet as they would have. But they were a hell of a group this year. And seeing how all the hard work paying off and everything, you know, that's good and dandy, but at the end of the day, we're still losers. You know, we finished 3-4, another losing record. And so that was tough. That was very tough. And just I mean, to get in, I didn't play 2 of the games. You know, there was an incident that happened during the year where, you know, because I rode in the car with a group of guys for 15 minutes to go grab dinner, I couldn't play for 2 weeks because one of those guys ended up getting it and affecting everyone around him. So I'm blessed to say I still haven't gotten the virus to this day, but it has affected me more than you could know. So that was tough, having to sit out and being in close quarters, or basically a box with a toilet and a TV, and food being brought to my door. I couldn't even see anybody or anything for 14 days. So that was very tough. Not to mention, you know, we had a group of guys out, I'd say 8 to 9 guys out, and all of them key players. And so now you're looking at a team that has 8 or 9 guys that normally play out. You know, that's tough sledding going against the number 11 team in the country in Oregon at the time. And so, you know, that was tough to watch, knowing that we could have beat those guys had we probably had the 8 to 9 guys that were out. We only lost by a point, I think, or whatever it was. And so that was tough. We won our 3rd game versus Arizona. And then everybody gets back versus ASU. And that was a weird week as well, as we got back on the Wednesday of game week. So we had already missed basically half the week of game prep, and everybody had been off for 2 weeks, and they're throwing us right in with the ones. And so for us to have to run around full speed, you know, keep up with the pace of practice, all while being off for 2 weeks, was very tough on everybody that had to come back. So it was rough going into the game. But even before we got to the game, you know, I had been obviously quarantined for 2 weeks, still hadn't had the virus, had tested negative all week, and sitting in the hotel room before the game, and I get a call from our head of operations guy, and always when he calls, it's never something happy and dandy. It's always, even if it's a small issue or problem, it's still an issue or problem. And so, I mean, really just getting a call from him, and I had to answer it. I couldn't ignore it. And so he calls me and is like, yeah, your antigen test, it came back positive. And I'm sitting there thinking, there's absolutely no way. Like, this has to be fake. Like, there's no way you just called me and said my test was positive, and then I have to stay in this room until my second test comes back. Like that, I was like, there's no way this virus or whatever it is real. Like, I couldn't have gotten it. Like, I dead ass couldn't have gotten it from anywhere. I was so cautious when I got back to school, and I was like, this has to be a joke. So I'm sitting there stressing out, and I get a call back. After about 10, 15 minutes go by, I get a call back, and he's like, your second test was negative, it was a false positive, you're good to go for tonight's game. And right then and there, I had even more of an appreciation than I did before I went to quarantine anyway. And that right there was, again, eye-opening, and luckily we won the game. I drove the team down for the game-winning score, and you know, the rest is history. But that was definitely just a weird sequence of events to all have happened in a week. And then we go on to play SC and Stanford and end up losing both of those 2 games, which really, they didn't win, we lost. I mean, if you want to be technical about it, that's really how it went down. We were better than both of those teams. We were really better than every team we played. And, you know, 2020 just happened to give us an unfortunate amount of events that we couldn't overcome. So, but that's why, you know, everybody asked me, and are still asking me, you know, what are you going to do, you know, now that the season's done? Are you going to go to the draft? Are you going to come back for what would technically be my true junior year? And, you know, fight another year to try and change this program? Or or are you going to go try and bet on yourself, as Darnay says, and, try and go to the draft? And, when people are like, he probably wouldn't even get picked anyway, and da-da-da-da. Tom Brady got picked as, one of the last picks in the draft, and look where he's at. So me going to the draft, could I get picked? Yes. There's no question in my mind. There's no disbelief in my mind that I wouldn't get picked, whether that's in the first round or whether that's in the 6th, 7th round or whatever it may be. I would get picked. Just what I've shown, the football IQ I would bring to the meetings, all of the above. I could show those coaches and those GMs and all of the above that I could play in the NFL and I could do this for a job, for a living. That wasn't the issue. The issue was that I would leave UCLA probably not worse, but not where I wanted to be when I first found it, So it was like, is this team close? Hell yeah, we're close. And that's why I think the mantra, the motto for 2021 is one more year. Like these seniors, these soon to be true junior/seniors, my class, the coaches, everybody involved in this has picked and prodded at this program and tried to juice every little thing out of it to change this culture around and to get a winning culture. And to lose 4 games and all be by one score, you tell me how close that is. The ball rolls one way instead of our way and we lose. That's literally all it is. And so for me, it was, if you come back, this could be your year to not show everybody what you can do, but show everybody what this team can do. And we could win a ring. We could win a Pac-12 championship. We could beat the ever-living shit out of SC. Not saying that any of those things are going to happen just because we all come back, but if we come back, put the work in, put the time in, put the effort in, put the love in to everything that we're doing, I think this team could blow up, man. I really think this team could blow up, and we could accomplish, conquer any and everything that we sought out to do as a class, as a unit, when we first got here as freshmen. And so I think that's the biggest part. I want a winning season. I want to, do everything that I sought out to do. And I think that's part of the reason why I'm coming back for my true junior year next year in 2021. Thank you.